Not about guns, but the first one of those that ever fired.
It works with everything.
Well, it actually works. These are cool. These are all over the city. And like
That's so cool.
Here. We went and got a room like one.
What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. I recently went to the New York Toy Fair and I had a cool experience with the Buzby Thermal Hunter. So a little overview. This was a prototype blaster, so I can't draw any like rigid conclusions, but it was still a super cool blaster. It's a spring-powered, pump-action, magazine-fed blaster that has a freaking thermal optic on it. Yeah, you didn't mishear me. It detects heat. I know what you're thinking. Well, yeah, anything's possible given adequate funding, but I don't want to spend $300 on a Nerf blaster. 25 US dollars. Not just for the optic either, for that plus the blaster. That for the blaster would be a fair rate, but with the thermal scope, like, what? I'm not bashing Nerf or anything, but they're now releasing a 5x zoom scope with night vision for $50 by itself, and I saw that and was like, okay, given the tech that's in there, that's fair. But this is half the cost, and it, oh, by the way, has a blaster attached to it. So, pretty cool, and I get it, the critics might say, well yeah, but everybody has those lasers and there's flashlights that don't work at all, they just look cool, so it's just not gonna work. Wrong again, good sir, or ma'am, madam, whatever. I was playing with it, and it does work, and it works quickly. Like the processing rate that's going on in there, I was expecting it to be massively laggy, given, you know, the super low price point. Blaster's pretty cool, but let's focus on the optic here first. So a thermal optic, by like definition, detects heat. Some tech can display it all, so then you can see the entire outline of the heat signature. I have a FLIR attachment for my iPhone, so when I'm doing electrical work, I can kind of see like heat signatures, which is really helpful. But that tech is pretty expensive, and it's really impressive to see it on a toy. This does not display like a complete heat signature, so you're not going to see like perfectly outlined silhouettes or anything. The whole point is to look through, and the little dot in the center changes colors when it's over a heat signature. It works really well, and I was really shocked to see it work well. No offense to Buzby or anything, but at that price point, like, I would assume most people would walk in saying, okay, that's just not gonna work, and it did, which was nice. So integrated features that are like kind of vital for this type of tech, you have to calibrate it and adjust the range. So the calibration would be the ambient temperature. Right now it's about 74 degrees Fahrenheit. For the hippies out there like, well, you're wasting too much on your heat, you should save the environment. I'm actually saving energy not running my AC. I'm in Naples, Florida, so yeah. But if you're in a 74 degree Fahrenheit area and then you walk like outside and it's currently like 90 degrees Fahrenheit, your thermal optic is gonna say, hey, people are surrounding you, there's a zombie horde, like you're dead, good, GG. But the recalibration allows it to interpret what is ordinary, so then if there's a heat spike or a person, but it'll recalibrate to your environment, which is great, so they can sell them anywhere. You can use them inside, outside, if you're like tactically moving through air conditioning out into like tropics and then into air conditioning. I don't know what type of Nerf event you're doing there, but you probably have to recalibrate in and out, but that's kind of inherent in this tech. The other adjustment is range. So if you have like a squirrel that runs by and you're not hunting squirrels, which I would not recommend, that's not cool. Animal abuse is for losers. But then if you're like really far away from the person, the camera, you know, it has to recalibrate to the heat signature. But getting to the more pragmatic question, will you use it in a Nerf war? Would anybody use it in a Nerf war? When would you need a thermal sight for a Nerf war? Like, thermal optics aren't used that often in firearm firefights. Like, I keep imagining the meeting when this product was introduced at the Buzby headquarters, wherever that is. So we've done more research. We can do it. We can build a thermal sight that's really cheap. Why would we, who would use that? Why not? Or something like that. I don't know. I agree, I don't see a real point for it. I don't know that I'd use it in a Nerf war. It is a rather large optic, obviously not the cost. It's not like you're scared of breaking it at that price point. But thermal optic, it works. I'll run more tests when I have the production copy in the studio so I can run the tests, but so far, super cool. And to the blaster, the Thermal Hunter, which is also super cool, and I don't want it to get overshadowed by its cool scope, because as far as the Buzby toys go, this is one of the more war practical ones. It's pump action, spring powered, magazine fed, and that's kind of, if you're not a Flywheel Master Race user, the lowly serfs of the spring class, as far as that limited view goes, that's going to be a new go-to blaster. I did shoot it, it performed well, it felt smooth, it was a prototype, so I didn't want to run it hard, and I was kind of set on not breaking anything at the toy fair, which I accomplished, BT dubs. I'm proud of myself. When I'm around prototypes, like most of the time it's like, what? Nope, unless I sign something saying if I break it, I have no liability, I'm not going to touch anything. I feel like a total jerk, especially in front of the design manager, who was actually responsible for the Rail Blaster mechanical design, that conveyor belt, which was super cool. And if he did that, I used his blaster and I just broke it right in front of him. Like, if a consumer breaks something in their home, like that has to like hurt because that's part of like what he's built. But if I'm right in front of him abusing it, like I don't like to read instructions. Most of the time I just pull and twist on absolutely everything until I figure it out. If I'm like, oh, that's cool, crack. Oh, here are your pieces. I feel like such a jerk. But it did shoot, so I'm excited for that, and I'll run it a little harder when I get a production copy, of course. So that is the Thermal Hunter. What a time to be alive, man. Like, thermal scopes, we're getting night vision zoom scopes, 3-round burst, hoppers, like all this tech, man. What's left? Now that I say that, someone's gonna come out with IR receptors with an IR like laser. We're gonna be running around with nods, like playing with Nerf blasters. Nods are night vision BT dubs, which would be a good reason to use the thermal, which I'm only half kidding here. If it's completely pitch black and you have your thermal scope, the Busby one, and you're looking around like a field or inside your house and a target runs by, your indicator is gonna change so you can press the trigger. It would be so funny to just be in that position and pull the trigger and then you hear a ow, like 30 feet away. What a funny situation to be in. Although I'm not sure which theory you fall under, but zombies, will they have a heat signature? They're human bodies, but if they don't require all the substance, like their bodies might not be generating heat if their hearts aren't going. I don't know enough about anatomy. I focused on the exterior, not the interior workings. This is too far off topic. The Thermal Hunter, I'm super excited for it. Freaking thermal. I'm rambling because I haven't accepted it. It's been like a couple days now, but freaking thermal optic. Oh man, okay. That's my overview. Let me know what you think of the blaster in the comment section below, and of course I'll have a review up when I get a sample. That's this video. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay tactical.